Gianni Infantino just called England a disgrace. Not in private, not in a leaked email, not through some backroom FIFA memo. He said it in the mixed zone at Boston's Gillette Stadium, minutes after England's lifeless 0-0 draw with Ghana, and the whole world heard it. It wasn't just a passing comment. It wasn't frustration in the heat of the moment. It wasn't the media twisting his words. This is serious. Nothing like this has ever happened hours after a World Cup qualifier, with a FIFA president publicly rebuking a national team's entire performance. And there's a detail the FA still hasn't confirmed publicly. Infantino wasn't even supposed to be in that mixed zone. He showed up unscheduled, flanked by two FIFA officials, and that's when everything changed. The worst part hasn't even come to light yet. Over the next few minutes, you're going to understand exactly what happened at Gillette Stadium, why Thomas Tuchel is now in crisis mode, and why this might have just fractured something inside the England camp that won't be easy to repair. When a FIFA president attacks your team's performance this close to a tournament, it's not just any problem. This goes beyond tactics or one bad match. It's about authority. It's about confidence. It's about whether external pressure is going to poison the entire squad's psychology before the real competition even starts. And the behind the scenes of this is worse than it looks, because there's been tension building between Infantino and the FA for months. He's been publicly critical of England's approach, questioning their intensity, their commitment to entertaining football. The FA has bristled at what they see as FIFA interference in purely sporting matters. But this is different. This is Infantino stepping into the dressing room conversation without an invitation. Open the first loop right here. How does Thomas Tuchel respond to being undercut by the tournament's most powerful official? It all started when the final whistle blew at Gillette Stadium. England versus Ghana, a match that should have been a statement, a show of intent, a confidence builder heading deeper into qualifiers. Instead, it was sluggish, tactically rigid, bereft of creativity. 0 shots on target, passes going astray. Declan Rice, the captain, caught between trying to impose himself and watching the midfield stumble. Jude Bellingham, representing the younger generation's intensity, frustrated by the constraints. Jordan Pickford barely tested in goal. The crowd, expecting an England masterclass against African opposition, went home disappointed. That's when Infantino appeared. Approximately 30 minutes after that final whistle, as journalists were gathering in the mixed zone, the FIFA president stepped out of the tunnel. A British journalist asked him directly about England's performance. There was a pause, long enough that everyone in the room felt it. Infantino removed his glasses. And then, according to multiple sources present at the scene, he said, "This is not what we promised the world." His tone was controlled, measured, but the words cut like a blade. The room felt silent. Other journalists began shouting follow-ups, sensing the conflict, sensing the story. But Infantino raised his hand and walked away through the tunnel. By the time he was gone, phones were already lighting up. Screenshots, interpretations, social media exploding within seconds. But to understand why this is so serious, you need to know what came before this moment. The thing is, this didn't start yesterday. Tension between FIFA and the FA has been building for months. Infantino made his frustration public during the qualification campaign, calling England's approach uninspiring, questioning whether they were living up to their potential. Meanwhile, inside Tuchel's training camp, sources close to the squad assure us there's already been friction. Reports suggest Jude Bellingham and Disgr&Ce have privately expressed frustration about tactical constraints, about feeling limited creatively. Some players have reportedly felt that media scrutiny is already affecting confidence before the tournament even properly begins. Thomas Tuchel's coaching staff had already flagged concerns about group cohesion. The Ghana match was supposed to be the answer, a chance to silence critics, to show unity, to build momentum. Instead, it exposed defensive rigidity and creative stagnation. Infantino's intervention wasn't random chaos. It was the breaking point of a simmering institutional power struggle. And hold on, because there's a detail almost nobody is talking about yet. According to information going around in FIFA circles, a tactical analyst was in the VIP section with a detailed assessment of England's formation, suggesting Infantino's critique wasn't improvised. It was prepared. It was calculated. The dressing room is now split. Sources close to the squad indicate that senior players like Declan Rice and Jordan Pickford are reportedly angry, seeing Infantino's intervention as overreach, as FIFA theatre designed to destabilize them. But the younger players, Kobbie Mainoo, Jude Bellingham, some of the emerging talents, are said to be more introspective, wondering if the criticism carries weight. One source close to the coaching staff described the mood as tense and divided. Thomas Tuchel himself has said nothing publicly yet, but people around him report he's isolated, defending himself against an attack from an unexpected angle. The FA, officially silent, is weighing an impossible response. Do they formally protest Infantino's inappropriate interference in sporting matters, risking a diplomatic row with FIFA? Or do they stay quiet, risking the appearance of spinelessness? Social media has exploded into two camps. Some fans defend England fiercely, attacking Infantino as a grandstanding distraction who has no right to question players. Others argue he's pointing at a real problem, that the performance was uninspired, and maybe external pressure is exactly what these players need to focus. The press is divided too, some running FIFA overreach narratives, others asking harder questions. Does Infantino actually have a point? Now, Thomas Tuchel is caught between two impossible decisions. If he publicly defends his team against Infantino, he appears defensive, and it reinforces the narrative that there's discord, that the squad is already fractured. But if he accepts the criticism quietly, if he appears submissive, he signals weakness to his players and essentially gives a FIFA president veto power over England's tactics and selection. The next qualifier is approximately 10 days away. That's the deadline. That's the clock ticking. If Tuchel changes his formation or rotates players just to appear responsive to Infantino's critique, he risks alienating the senior players who already feel Tuchel's under attack. But if he sticks with the same approach and loses, Infantino will have been proved right, and his authority over future tournaments will be cemented. The FA faces their own dilemma. A formal protest escalates the situation and could damage England's relationship with FIFA for years. Staying silent looks weak and sets a precedent that FIFA officials can publicly shame national teams without consequences. This is a crisis that's just beginning. The weight of what just happened at Gillette Stadium is still settling. A FIFA president publicly rebuking an entire national team, and the domino effect spreading through the dressing room, the coaching staff, the federation. And look, this is far from over. This is the information going around so far, but over the next few hours, new details should drip out, and they could completely turn this story upside down. There are unconfirmed reports of a private call between Tuchel and FIFA leadership. If that conversation leaks, it could vindicate one side or further damage the other. Over to you. Was Infantino justified in calling out a genuinely poor performance? Or has FIFA crossed the line in manipulating a national team's psychology? Write it down below. And if you don't want to find out about the next bombshell after everyone else, subscribe and turn on notifications now. Because when this fully blows up, you'll want to be the first to know, not the last.